So you finally got somewhere with bar chords and you're looking for your next challenge. Stick around, I've got some awesome shapes to show you. Hello everyone, it's James from Practice Like a Pro, providing you with simple clear guitar tips to help you on your guitar playing journey. So we're going to talk about 7th chords today, specifically major and minor 7th chords and how we can use them in bar chords to give you a bit of a classier sound. So this lesson assumes that you can already play A major and A minor as a 6-string shape and D major and D minor as a 5-string shape. These work all up and down like your regular bar chords would. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn each major and minor chord into a major 7 and a minor 7 shape. What that does is you're adding the 7th note of the scale on top of the chord. So instead of it being what we call a triad, which is a 3-note chord, we're playing a 4-note chord instead. So let's just hear it in practice a little bit. I'm just going to show you. I'm going to play the standard major and minor chords and then I'm going to play the 7ths. So this progression, we're going to go from C major to A minor. So that's my regular C chord and that's my regular A minor chord. Now if I play C major 7 and then A minor 7, it's just on a completely different level. It sounds ace. So this is C, C major 7, A minor, A minor 7. So some of them are a little bit more subtle than others, but a really sort of a beginner's place to hear a major 7s and minor 7 chords. Under the Bridge by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. He plays a big, lovely E major 7 chord before they go into the verse. You know, it sort of goes into all that. Okay, I'm going to start with the 6-string shape first. So we're going to start with A minor. So this is the regular one. Now all I'm going to do for this is take my pinky off. So I'm barring the 5th fret and I'm just using my ring finger on the 7th fret of the A string. Because that 7th note is actually catered by the bar by taking that finger off. So we'll play A minor 7. It's a little bit more subtle as the 6-string version, but I think you'd agree, it sounds a little bit more classy. The 6-string major 7 chord, you've got to use sparingly. It's a bit like salt and pepper. You'll ruin your meal if you put too much into it. It has got a nice sound, but you can't strum it as much as the 5-string version that I'm going to show you in a second. So this is what it sounds like. And I can hear some of you saying, "Oh, James, that sounds like almost sounds like a jazz chord." It is, and that's why you don't tend to see it too much in rock and pop, but you'll see the other one instead, because you can't really strum it like you can the other. I mean, it still sounds pleasant enough. So what I've got is I've got the 5th fret on the low E string with my index finger. I've got the 5th fret on the B string with my middle finger. And then my 3rd and 4th fingers are on the 6th fret of the D and the G. And I don't know if you can see, but with my index finger, I'm stopping the A string from ringing out. And I'm only strumming the low E, the A, the D, and the B. Let's move on to the 5-string shapes. So we're going to start with D minor. And if you remember from earlier in the video, all I had to do was take one finger off in the previous minor 7 chord. Well, this is just the same. I'm going to take my pinky off. And again, it just adds that sort of level of class. So this is the regular triad, and this is the minor 7. I feel like it just kind of opens it up a little bit more. And a great little tip for you is, you can hear this in songs like Long Train Running by the Doobie Brothers. They use a G minor instead of a D minor. But a lot of guitarists, when they're playing a minor 7 shape, the 5-string minor 7 shape, they'll play the bar, strum the chord, and then hammer on the rest of the chord, and you get this. So instead of going, you can go. And it just adds a little bit of extra variation. So finally, let's talk about D major. Now, a lot of people play D major like this. As you can see, my hands are way too big. So just for today's exercise, I'm going to bar with both fingers. You don't necessarily have to play the regular major chord like this, it's just I physically can't get my fingers where they need to go. So that's the D chord. Now what we're going to do, we need to have a shuffle around with his fingers. We need to get to the 6th fret on the G, but we need to leave the other notes where they are. So what we're going to do, we're going to bar the 5th fret. My second finger is going to go on the 6th fret of the G. My ring finger is going to go on the 7th fret of the D, and then my pinky is going to go the other side of it and play the 7th fret of the B. And again, it's really lovely sound. As I've said before, I prefer this major 7 chord here to this shape up here. I just feel like it's a bit more usable in a strumming kind of context, but I'll let you be the judge of that. So just to recap, that's his regular A major chord. You've got A major 7, you've got A minor, take your pinky off to get A minor 7. We're going to go down to D, you've got D major. You're going to have a shuffle around to get D major 7. You've got D minor, and just as the previous minor 7 chord, you're going to take your pinky off and you get D minor 7. So like I said earlier with the major 7 shape, it's a bit like salt and pepper of these chords. If you use them all the time, it starts to sound a little too jazzy, unless that's what you want, and great, go right ahead. But maybe find a song that you're working on in your own time with bar chords, and try and throw a couple of major and minor 7 chords in there just to kind of sweeten it up a little bit, because the notes that you're adding are in the same key as what you're playing over, and it'll add a new texture to the music, which I think is really cool. I hope you found some of those tips useful and you can sort of incorporate those new shapes into your playing. If you did, please let us know in the comments below what songs you're going to try and use these new major and minor 7 shapes with. Above me, if you like his content, please do consider subscribing. We've got the button above my head. And if you've got a little bit more time and you want to learn something new, please consider looking at some more of his content. Until I see you next time, thank you very much. Keep practicing like a pro. Cheers.